Hey, what is up? Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, and today is Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's Toys R Us Tuesday. We're gonna kind of dip into some very interesting toy history from the mid '80s. It was actually kind of like, I guess I want to say, from the early '80s to all the. Actually, we should just say it was all the way through the '80s. And we're gonna talk about Intertech water guns. And you say, well, why would you want to talk about that? Because nowadays the thing is, with there's a whole stigma with toy guns. And back in the day, for some people that were older, from the 30 that are in their late 30s and 40s, remember, like, playing guns was kind of like it was just kind of like a rite of passage for young boys. And so I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the history of that. And it's kind of like actually pretty cool history in that of the kind of like and actually some of these are very collectible too. So I just want to, so for today on Toys R Us Tuesday, we're going to talk about Intertech. We're going to talk about toy guns, but we're going to talk about Intertech. And this was kind of like the stuff from the 80s. And we'll get into like the controversy and why these guns are no longer around and things like that. So let's get into it. So basically, a little bit of history is the baby boomers were like, so this was like in the 50s, early 50s through the 60s. It was all about cowboys and Indians. And that's what kind of started this whole toy kind of subject, toy guns. And so a lot of Disney shows like Davy Crockett in the 50s was a huge thing, and that's what kind of morphed from the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. The toy guns kind of carried through the 80s, and I want to say there was some toy gun stuff in the 90s with super soakers and things like that, and Nerf guns were coming out. So there's this whole lineage of toy guns that, and actually Toys R Us had, I remember in the 80s, had a whole section, like literally a whole aisle dedicated to toy guns. And those days are long gone. But I want to show you guys the Intertech guns, and these are kind of interesting because, as you can see, in the 80s, the guns were actually colored black to actually mimic real guns, and that was the problem. But we'll get into that in a second. As you can see, these were the coolest squirt guns that I can ever remember because they were battery operated and they look like real guns, and they squirt so far, and they would just go like shoo, 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 shoo. And you can find actually some of these still at garage sales and stuff, and some of them are worth a good amount of money. As you can see, they don't have the little orange tip on them, and we can get into that in a second too, because there's a lot of long history on why there's the orange tip on guns now and why they paint them all funky colors now. And so we'll get into that in just a second. So let's, as kind of tradition here, as we've just did the first video last week, as tradition, we're going to show you a commercial from 1986 and kind of see what this was all about. So this is about 30 seconds, so enjoy. See? That's a crazy. 30 feet, man. These things shot far. Yep. This is all about being a kid from when I remember. Like, all my friends had these things, and we all had like huge collections of these things. Yeah. See, the 8 most dangerous band toys. That's funny. So basically, that was one of the videos. So Intertech was a company. I think they were based out of California. They made all kinds of stuff. One of the most notable things, other than those squirt guns that they made, that some of you might remember, was Photon, the laser tag brand. And we can watch a video of that right now. 1986. Oh, hold on, I gotta pause this real quick. Well, we gotta go back, and I gotta pause this real quick. This is actually very, very notable as far as the history of this. Now you see how there's two boxes, how there's Photon and there's another plain box that's laser game. There was laser tag, and those that were in the 80s remember laser tag was the most popular laser gun in the 80s, and Photon was trying to compete with them. As you could see, they're kind of doing a knock on them. It says laser game, and I thought that was very hilarious. As a kid, you wouldn't have noticed that kind of competitive marketing, but as you can see, laser game with just a plain like black box is trying to say like, this brand is crap. You want to buy our brand, Photon. And it's actually, my parents actually got me Photon, and I remember being a kid and being so disappointed because every kid in the neighborhood had laser tag. And so like I really couldn't play with them because everyone had laser tag and that was all compatible, but I had Photon, and like there's really no way for my parents to really know that. They didn't have any clue. They just thought, oh, a laser game, everyone's hip to that, because in 86 and 87 laser tag was hot. It was super hot. So anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know about this competitive marketing here. It's genius, and there's still companies that do this kind of thing today with this kind of marketing tactic. So just wanted to mention that. The helmets are really cool, and the guns actually work pretty well too. You look like a freak though with all this gear on, but I mean it was fun. Intertech, there you go. So that's what ToysRUs Tuesday is all about. I wanted to show you guys, they actually had, I wonder if I can say, Photon actually had a cartoon out, or not a cartoon, a live show, and it was so horrible. I just want to show you guys real quick. Like, look how horrible this is. It was like, it tried to be like Doctor Who and anything. Well, anyways, that's what Intertech was most notable for. And so these guns were amazing. Unfortunately, I want to say in like 86, 87, or 88, a kid got shot by a police officer, and because he had one of these guns, and that was definitely unfortunate, and it was kind of like an oversight by the 80s. Were a different time altogether, and when that happened, toy companies were literally forced to turn their guns into kind of neon so that wouldn't happen. It was very unfortunate. And as you really think about it, that was probably going to happen anyways. You know, the guns look so real. I can't tell you how many stories of bank robbers and people that have got held up with these toy guns because they looked so real. So that's what really happened with the dissolve of the toy gun industry. And as you can see, Nerf kind of carried past the torch along with their foam darts, and as you can see, you're not going to find any Nerf gun that's all black. You're going to see it's always going to be funky colors, and that's why some kid got shot and killed, unfortunately, and that's what happened with the whole genre just shifted right out. It was a huge tragedy, and I really feel bad because that could have been any of us. I mean, we were literally playing guns literally every day. It was like, you know, we played cops and robbers. That was the thing, and it was just, you know, one of those things. So anyways, it wouldn't be ToysRUs Tuesday without also kind of dipping into like the eBay situation here. And as you can see, we're gonna sort by highest price here. Some of these water guns still go for a good amount of money, as you can see. I've seen these things go as high as $300 or $400. So the fact that these are actually back down to $40 is actually very surprising to me. And actually, the prices. Oh, another thing that Intertech did that some of you might have remembered was Gotcha. This was like the original, or Gotcha. This was the original paintball gun, and a lot of you might have remembered this from the 80s. And I totally spaced out on that. And Intertech also did Zap-It, which was like it was before Super Soakers, and it had like invisible ink, and you would squirt someone with it, and they thought like you squirted ink all over them, but it actually was invisible ink. And as a matter of fact, let's go real quick, and hopefully we can see. Whoops. We can see that see if there's actually a commercial for Zap-It. Oh, there is. Good. Good, good, good. I wanted to show you guys this. This was Zap-It.
Hey, friend, the fun never ends. Hey,
This music is always so funny.
it's automatic. The color disappears, the fun never ends. Pulsator and super saturated water guns come complete with red or blue concentrated disappearing liquid. Shoots lots of beats, can't be beat.
So anyways, that was Zap-It. So they actually, Intertech actually created a really crazy amount of toy gun products through the 80s. The thing is, Zap-It actually got all of my friends into trouble because we'd squirt like random people on the street with this stuff. And to be honest, like sometimes the ink wouldn't come out, and so people would be pissed. And so this stuff actually lasted only a few years, but it was super popular at the time. The idea was sound. And so anyways, that's the Toys R Us Tuesday for today. I wanted to show you guys there's still money in this kind of stuff too. If you're looking for this stuff at thrift stores, the things are kind of fun. So just wanted to guys give you for a Toys R Us history, Toys R Us Tuesday, a little bit of history on 80s toy guns, and it was a major thing. Anyone that remembers that stuff, if you remember this stuff, please leave a comment below, and also click the subscribe button if you want to see more Toys R Us Tuesdays. Every Tuesday I'm going to try to do it. And click the like button, leave a comment below if you remember this stuff. Click the bell also if you want to get notifications every time I create a video. I do a video maybe every couple days, every 3 days. We talk about all kinds of stuff about reselling and toys and things. So thank everyone for watching, and see you soon.